Hello and welcome to all members of the Ray Group attending this Unlocking Vault Express webinar. My name is Bella Pould, and in the next 15 minutes, I'll be showing you how to add property to the database and also attach a property to an existing contact. To start with, we need to head over to the Properties tab, and you'll see two options, Add Property and Appraisal Wizard. In the Add Property section, we do get the option to add a brand new property to the database, whether it be an appraisal, prospect, or a listing. By doing so, we're only adding a property with no vendor or property owner attached. Please be aware of this before you proceed. First, you'll need to select your type. Next, whether it's a for sale property or a rental property. And lastly, if it's a prospect, appraisal, or listing. Clicking next, it will take us to adding the property details in full. You can choose to use the Price Finder search to grab the property straight from Price Finder with a couple of attributes, or you can start typing the details in specifically below. You'll notice as I start typing the address of the property in, we do have duplicates found. Please make sure you are aware if there are existing properties in the database already, not to go and create them a second. You would click Open and head over to the existing property. When adding the suburb, you'll need to choose from the drop-down list. You can start adding further particulars for the property. Everything basic just for now will do fine. You have a lot of other information you can include at this time. However, if you are simply putting in new geographic data and you're not yet at appraisal or listing stage, then you might like to come back and add this detail later. Down the bottom here, we have contact inquiry, staff members. This is in place of what you would call a sales representative. You can have one or two salespeople on a property. So at this point that it will default to yourself, so make sure to add the relevant agent. And if you are working off an open database, the access to the property will be included for everybody. Now we can click Save and Update. Next, what we'll be showing you is the Appraisal Wizard. Under Properties and Appraisal Wizard, this is the screen that allows us to add both the property owner and property at the same time. This is our recommended way to enter geographic data into the database. You'll need to start by selecting whether the contact is a company or a client. Again, please make sure to pay attention to any duplicates found in the system. If this is the right person you'd like to use, you can click Use, which will pre-fill the details for the existing client rather than entering them as a duplicate. If it's a completely different person, then you can ignore and proceed. Again, at this point, we can use the Price Finder search to bring through the property, or we can enter the details in manually here. This screen looks a little different to the Add Property screen because we are adding it in as a client connected property. You'll choose again your type of property and what status it should be at this point. Sale not currently listed will be your geographic prospecting data, appraisal, lease not currently listed, again, prospecting data, or a lease appraisal. From here, you can add your appraisal details for the appointment as well. And the email follow-up reminder and SMS follow-up reminder are two options you can use when entering data to the database to automatically communicate with this particular client as soon as you hit Add Property. From here, whether it be an email or an SMS reminder, I can choose who I'd like the email to come from. So if I am adding this data on behalf of another, I'll need to change that from option, or the template, select from these drop-down lists here. As soon as we add the property, that particular communication will be scheduled to send right away. If it is an SMS, you'll need to agree to the charges. You may not have access to this module in your database, so you may need to speak to your administrator or principal to access that particular module. And lastly, who has access to the appraisal, again, will default as to who you attach to the property. However, in this particular section, if you're working off an open database, everyone should have visibility. Lastly, you'll click Add Property and you'll proceed to the same screen we saw before with all of the tabs and extra information you can add to both the client and the property. Lastly, let's show you how to add a property to an existing contact in the database. Firstly, we'll start by searching our contact at the top of the page. Using the search bar, add the details in for the client, select the option on the drop down below, and you'll notice here that this client has no properties attached. So we're going to go through to the file and we'll now attach a property. Click the options next to the person tab here. Then attach property. It's at this point that if the property does also exist in the database separately, we can connect them together, or we might just be adding a brand new property. Again, you're welcome to use the price finder property search to pull through the data or start typing it in directly in the screen. This screen has taken us to the Appraisal Wizard, very much like what we saw just before. We'll need to select the type of property, what status it should be, and continue through the details of the screen. It's at this point that you can create an appointment for an appraisal as well. You'll notice on the right-hand side that your next 7 days from your calendar will appear to help you pick a window of time that you're free. And again, we do have the option to create an email or SMS reminder and change our access to this contact and property if we need to as well. Lastly, you'll click Add Property, and your client that exists in the database will now have a property attached to it. To finish, I would like to show you how to access more training and support resources. Firstly, log into g5.raywhite.com, which will bring you through to this home screen where you can click through to all of the One System resources. Heading over to Whiteboard, we can select the Get Prepared for VaultRE section. Under here, you'll see a number of different training sessions and fact sheets available for all roles in the business. Lastly, if you do have any major support requests, please make sure to use the support request button within the Vault system, also available on both the Android and iPhone apps as well. This is specifically for fault requests or issues with the system. For any further training, please get in contact with your corporate support team or local digital BDE. That completes our Unlocking Vault Express webinar. Thank you for joining us today, and if you have any questions, please get in contact with us. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.